Hey guys, Zen here, and there is a lot to get through in this one. A gigantic announcement has been made by Ubisoft, and there's a new operation in the works that includes some of the most popular operators from within the Siege universe, and as for Rainbow Six Siege, admittedly it's a bit light, but there's much more to discuss in this video, and so let's get started. Now, over the past few days, it was revealed that Ubisoft finally broke the licensing chains from EA and is creating the next Star Wars game in collaboration with Lucasfilms. The Ubisoft-owned studio, Massive, is holding the reins on this one, and there are a lot of people hyped for the first Star Wars game not developed by EA in what seems like forever. Now, Massive, for those of you that don't know, is the studio behind The Division, an open-world looter shooter of sorts that focuses on gunplay and character progression. Now, in being honest, the promise of The Division kind of always overshadowed what was actually delivered, especially in the first title. At launch, it was looked at as the third-person, more realistic version of Destiny, but when it actually hit the shelf, it was a bit bland, to say the least, and there were a lot of disappointments. However, with The Division 2, they cleaned it up, and for the most part, a lot of people were happy with it, and a community has been built around the game that continue to support it even to this day. But this one will be Massive's first ever licensed game, where they're developing on a story that's already there, and Star Wars is just a huge undertaking. Now, of course, there are concerns, and I think Ubisoft has kind of taken on this place of it's just another Ubisoft game, which in gamer terms basically means a dull open world, repetitive mission structure, and some kind of microtransactions, and to some extent, there has been some truth to that. It actually wasn't long ago that the CEO of Ubisoft directly responded to the quality of their games and said they'd do better, and at least for me, they've been working toward it. I think Assassin's Creed Valhalla has been one of the best RPGs in a while, and it does take some hours before the game fully unlocks, but once it does, there's no denying they put more of an effort here. And Immortal Phoenix Rising was one of the best sleeper hits of last year, and so I think they're staying true to that commitment. But Star Wars is an immense property with an insanely passionate audience, and Ubisoft is looking to take that praise from EA. Right now, we're in the beginning of our new journey, so we're still working out many of the details. But what we can tell you is that this will be a story-driven open-world game. We want to bring both lifelong and new fans on an immersive, outstanding journey that will stick with them for years. We want to leverage Massive's talent for creating incredible worlds and refined gameplay to deliver an unforgettable game, especially for players looking to experience an amazing story-driven journey. And when asked about working with Disney and Lucasfilms, they say, "We are 100% aligned on the same goal, delivering an incredible, groundbreaking Star Wars experience." So, yeah guys, the game will run on the Snowdrop engine, the same one that powers The Division, and it'll be an all-new narrative experience that is completely separate to anything EA has produced. And so, we spent a lot of time here, but I've actually recently become quite a Star Wars fan, and I'm excited to see a fresh take on gameplay. Now, another surprise announcement that came up was the reveal of Operation Amber Sky. It's a crossover in Ghost Recon Breakpoint that includes operators from Rainbow Six Siege. They dropped a trailer showing off what to expect, and it's looking juicy. Check this out. So, Finka, Ash, and Thatcher will be joining the Ghost to take on Sentinel in a new live event called Amber Sky. Now, I've got to be honest, I've never been much of a Ghost Recon player, but the Siege crossover is interesting, and it could be something we see more of in Rainbow Six Siege. The latest merge from within the Ubisoft games has been with Operation Shadow Legacy, where we got Zero, or better known as Sam Fisher from Splinter Cell. Now, at launch, there weren't too many people playing this operator, but as of recently, I've been seeing him a lot, and he's really starting to become one of the better operators on attack. And so if you are someone who likes to see your favorite characters in other franchises, then hopefully Ubisoft does more of this, and it could be possible still for a Ghost Recon soldier to make their way into Siege if Operation Amber Sky is received well. Now, last up, we're speaking about Rainbow Six Siege directly, because the most recent CES for 2021 was put on, and there were some pretty big announcements. Well, I guess for starters, Razer is actually fighting against the world's enemy with their brand new mask called Project Hazel, and yes, it has RGB for those PC guys that are all about it. Now, as for R6, NVIDIA announced that its brand new NVIDIA Reflex tech is coming to the game, and I get a lot of questions about this new feature, and so who better to cue you in than the creators themselves?
During the launch of the 30 series RTX GPUs, we unveiled NVIDIA Reflex, a revolutionary suite of technologies designed to measure and optimize system latency for competitive gamers. System latency is the measure of PC responsiveness, the time it takes your actions to end up as pixels on screen. Over the past 4 months, NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency Mode has been integrated into over a dozen games. Today, we are excited to announce that Overwatch and Rainbow Six Siege will be adding support for the Reflex Low Latency Mode. Soon, gamers can hop in game and experience better responsiveness in GPU-bound situations.
So yeah, depending on your rig and your peripherals, like your mouse and monitor, your latency could be heavily impacting your ability to land those essential quick shots that are crucial in a game like Rainbow Six Siege. This new feature should help to make it a little faster and your gameplay a little smoother with just the flick of a switch in game. It doesn't require anything special, but they also announced a slew of brand new monitors with a reflex latency analyzer, which for those of you who need to know every bit of data down to the very millisecond, these monitors will have the reflex analyzer built in so that you can monitor your monitor. Now, is this stuff going to make you a better gamer? Well, maybe. I mean, your knowledge and game sense will always be front and center, but technology like this is what it's all about at that high level. And so, yeah, if you're looking for even more of a raw experience, this could up your game. Now, for you console guys, CES had some pretty important news if you're someone rocking a next-gen console. Now, as we know, the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S are just getting started here, and if you've been lucky enough to snag one, then you're only half prepared for the full 4K 120 FPS experience they offer. The other bit is almost as important if you want your next-gen console to actually produce next-gen visuals, and what you'll need is an HDMI 2.1 TV or display. The thing with HDMI 2.1 is that it has this insanely wide spectrum of support and features, and really none of the TVs that say they have it now actually support everything your new console can do. 4K 120 is just the start. You'll also want VRR or variable refresh rate enabled to reduce screen tearing, and a lot of TVs either don't have it or are waiting for an update for it. You'll of course want HDR10 for those crisp and bright colors, and it seems like a lot of TV makers have their own terminology for it as well. Dolby Vision is nice for the games that support it, and you'll want as low of a latency as you can get, with some TVs going all the way down to a 1 millisecond ultra responsive experience. Now, again, most of what's available today doesn't have all of this, and sure, it's not like you actually need all of it to enjoy your games, but if you want the highest value per dollar out of your new console hardware, then you're gonna have to look to these features. Now, at CES, LG unveiled a brand new lineup of TVs that for the most part will have native support for most of these features, and even today, their CX OLED TV has been named the best TV for Series X and PS5. The new C1 and flagship G1 TVs with OLED Evo tech are the new best, with support for HDMI 2.1, VRR, and ALLM, or Auto Low Latency Mode. So basically, they'll know if you're playing a game and turn down the latency for the best experience. Like the CX of last year, these will be pricey, but if you're looking for a display that does it all, these are some of the best options. Rainbow Six Siege recently received its next-gen upgrade with support for a full 4K resolution and 120 frames per second on console, which is the first, and it's looking absolutely incredible. But remember, if you stick with your old TV and don't upgrade, there's a good chance that you're not really seeing any of this even with a next-gen console, because most older models max out at 60 Hz and support some generic version of 4K, and usually not at the same time. And so, yeah, I really hope that kind of serves as a guide for those of you looking for a more down-to-earth understanding of what to look for if you have upgraded to next gen. Because even as a PC gamer myself, I love my PS5 and I really only want the best. But that's everything for this video, guys. If you did enjoy this one or learned a little something, leave a like and I'll see you guys in the next one. It's been Zen. Hey, I'm out.